We've seen some great racing today, Helen. Some very, very tight finishes. We've been saying the last 2 days, we can't believe the standard of the racing and how close these races are for day 1 and 2 at Henley.
It has been fantastic, and to see crews coming from length down to being, a photo finish, and the standard is so high, and you just see crews digging in the whole way.
Get ready, please.
Here at the start of the Princess Elizabeth Challenge Cup with Gonzaga College High School from the United States on the left-hand side, and in the buck station on the right-hand side is Winchester College. The coxswain in the Winchester boat with their arm up, just to indicate that they're not straight and ready yet. Once their arm goes down and both crews are straight and ready, the umpire will begin the race.
Attention! Go!
We're away with Winchester College. Very quick start there out of the blocks, Helen.
Yeah, that's a long time to be held forward for at the start. I think that would have done nothing for the rowers' nerves, just waiting and sitting there in the silence. There's often the worst bit for the rowers.
Absolutely, the nerves of waiting for that start, and then it's a flurry of noise, particularly in the eights. All of a sudden it goes from that deafening silence to the craze of oars and the coxswain screaming and water going everywhere. And Winchester being warned there for their steering. You could see the umpire with his flag pointing them back over to the buck station, and they're about half a length clear on Gonzaga.
Very, very quick start, straight out the blocks there, really blasted out, took the boat with them, and they've made a big difference. For an 8, that's a huge difference to make so early on, and hopefully they'll find that rhythm, but I'm sure that Gonzaga are going to sweeten up that rhythm, and after that start just find their feet a bit.
And it's really interesting in these match-style races where it's sometimes hard not to be taken out of your plan, out of your rhythm. You've really got to make sure that you're locking into what the coxswain is saying, sticking to the plan. I think these guys here, Winchester closest to us on screen, they'll be wanting to get into a controlling position, but having to make sure that they're not expending too much energy unnecessarily in order to fight for that lead in the early stage.
They will, and they were so pleased to make it past day 1. It's the first time that the crew has made it onto this day, so they'll be riding on such a high and wanting to capitalise on that today. But the American crew now starting to find their feet a little bit and hoping to stay in contact, I think, for this part of the race.
Yes, it looked like Winchester really working hard for that lead early on. Will it prove costly down the other end? It looks like Gonzaga's not letting them get away now. A little bit of overlap.
Yeah, they're not. I thought at some point they were going to break for clear water, but the American crew has done very, very well.
Return to your station!
And we can hear the umpire calling for Winchester to move back to their station. Of course, the rules state that you must row the shortest course from start to finish, and that means staying over on your station and not washing down the other crew.
Yeah, and in that boat that's being warned, the cox will have to steer, so that does kind of affect the balance of the boat and the speed of the boat. But also as a rower, you don't want to be in that boat. You don't want anything impinging on your thinking process and on your rowing.
Absolutely, we can see there Winchester College currently in the lead, but this is a big push now from Gonzaga. Only about half a length in it.
Gonzaga's made a big difference in that last 30 seconds. Whether the cox noticed that there was a steering issue and they capitalised on it and maybe made a push while the other crew was correcting, I don't know, but they definitely moved up.
And I think this has been a really composed race from Gonzaga. I'm quite impressed. They didn't get flustered in the early stages when Winchester took a really considerable lead. They had just over a length. But now the crews looking like they're going to start to pull back to level, so it's all to play for in the second half of this race between Gonzaga College High School on the right-hand side of your screen and Winchester College on the left-hand side of the screen. And hello to everyone in the US who is watching the broadcast today, and particularly those supporting Gonzaga College High School.
And Gonzaga actually have a pit to play with. They're a pit lower than Winchester, so potentially as we're coming into the final sort of section of the race, they might have a little bit more of a sprint to play with.
Yeah, Winchester sitting up on about 37 strokes per minute. But Gonzaga looking quite comfortable as they're starting to draw back to level now.
I think they've actually looked better throughout this whole race. I don't know if they had a slightly more frantic start because they were held for a long time, but they did lose ground off the start, but they have looked more and more of a quality crew throughout the race.
And Brendan McCabe was sitting in the 3 seat of the Gonzaga crew. He said that they were confident going into this race today. He said they're feeling quick, but they had a few things to improve on from yesterday's race, and that they were looking forward to this round. Both crews on 36 strokes per minute now, and they're locked together as they're coming down towards the enclosures. Another really tight race.
And the Winchester crew have a combination of people who are trialling for GB and who've done really well at national schools regattas, so the talent is there, and they obviously displayed that with that start. They're just trying to push on now to keep in touch.
And this has been a big move now. We can see that Gonzaga are now moving to almost a length clear, so after being a length down in the first few hundred metres, now as they're coming up to the last few hundred metres, they're moving out to almost a length. They've been really patient. I think they've done a really good job at just sticking to the plan, listening to the coxswain, biding their time. It's a long race, 2,112 metres.
Very well-paced race for them, and that composure has just paid dividends down the course.
We have more than 60 crews from the United States this year, one of the biggest contingents, which is fantastic to see. Yeah, Gonzaga just looking more and more confident now, aren't they, Helen, as they come down towards the enclosures?
Their blade work looks strong. I think they feel. I think there must be a sense of pride from rowing through a crew that has taken you off the start. That there's definitely that sense of satisfaction that we're feeling right now.
They're passing the progress board and coming down to the finish line in this race of the Princess Elizabeth Challenge Cup. Will be Gonzaga College High School from the United States over Winchester College.